What is up, everybody? Josh here again, and today we have an Icarus Week 136 update. This week we have some farming changes and seed changes, some new items for farming, some news about Prometheus world bosses, and more. Let's get into it, shall we? Icarus Week 136, farming update number 2. This week they made changes to weather impact on crops and also how they're influenced by storms, weather patterns, and different biomes now. We also got some new tools as well. And this week they are expanding on that this week with biomes, extreme storms, freezing temperatures, and exposure now playing a part in the crop growth simulation, making this feel more natural and connected to the rest of the game. So we have new shovels, and crop plots now have different tiers of storm resistance to mitigate crop damage, and of course changes to the biomes, how they affect crops and their success rate as well. They also talk about world bosses coming to Prometheus and next week's farmer satchel. Real quick, some notable improvements this week is that crops planted with the shovel no longer incur a negative modifier added to crop growth. Sunlight now increases crop growth by 20%, with no sunlight reducing speed by 20% instead of 50%. And that can be replaced with the greenhouse bonus, where there are glass building pieces nearby. The Kiwi trophy can now be placed on the ground as well. So now whenever you make a dirt mound, you'll see you don't see a negative 50% when you plant a seed. Got his little fiber seed there planted, and you can see that there is a resistance to a tier 1 storm. Of course, anything above a tier 1 storm, which you look in the top right of the screen, you'll see the different types of storms and what they look like. So just match them. They'll tell you if it's a tier 1 storm or not. That was one thing they changed. And now you'll see that we have the sunlight modifier. Whenever you're growing outside and you're in sunlight, you get a plus 20% crop growth speed. This week we have where seeds prefer certain biomes, and they have biome modifiers. Seeds will now have preferred biomes. Crops will have more success growing in environments with favorable conditions, and certain crops will incur large debuffs if they're not appropriate. For example, nothing will be able to grow outdoors in the Arctic. However, unsuitable conditions can be negated by building greenhouses using the glass building pieces, which is what I usually do anyway, and the impact on openly planted seeds in each biome is as follows. So volcanic biome, the wither speed is plus 500%. Grasslands, crop growth is negative 60%. Conifer, crop yield is negative 60%. Desert, spoil time is negative 80%. Swamp, crop will be spoiled on harvest 60%, and Arctic, crop will not grow. So now if you grow outside of a greenhouse, basically you'll have these modifiers applied based on the biome you're growing from. We also get a crop quality this week. Alongside the impact of biomes on crops, the quality of crops will now play a role in farming. Crops now have a quality which will be slowly reduced based on storms, and once a crop reaches 0 quality, it will be withered and be unable to bear any fruit. This is a slow process, and it will take multiple storms to fully reduce a crop's quality to 0. Outside of storms, the quality of crop will recover slowly if the crop is watered. And when harvesting crops, yield will be scaled based on the crop quality after any talents and stat bonuses are applied. Also, crop plots and mounds have a new property which lets them know what tier storms that they will not be affected by, basically their quality. And in addition to the crop plots having high resistance as you move up the tech tree, they've also introduced new shovels that allow you for creation of better dirt mounds so that their crops can survive higher tier storms. We also get 2 new fertilizers that's craftable at the herbalism bench at tier 2. One is crop resistance, which will help reduce the quality loss of crops and storms, and another is focused on recovery, which will dramatically increase the recovery rate of crops. And they state here, if your game is set to easy, either a mission or open world, these new changes will not impact you, and no quality loss to your crops will occur. This week they also have crop plot and shovel tierification, and this basically shows what the crop plot is and what the tier is, as well as any stats and bonuses that you get with that crop plot. And they go all the way from wood crop plot, which is quality of 2, iron is quality 3, hydroponic, aeroponic is 5, and for the mounds you have wooden, which is 1, iron, which is 2, platinum, which is 3, titanium, which is 4, and the excavator dirt mound which is 6. And they also tell what the bonuses and stuff are right there. If you want, you can pause the video and check that out. It also states that the weather forecast will now show what tiers of storms can happen during certain periods, and different environments will also show what tier storms you can expect. And there's a small chance that the tiers either 1 or above can spawn during that forecast also. While dirt mounds have more bonuses than crop plots, making them suitable for mass farming, crop plots are more focused on automation rather than individual boosts, while mounds are focused on buffs and mass farming. Mounds that are created with the animal plow are equivalent to the iron shovel dirt mound. Let's talk about unlocks. Tier 1 has nothing. Tier 2, a little bit to the right of the wood crop plot, we see the new recovery fertilizer, which is the basic fertilizer and some crushed bones. Gives a plus 200% crop quality recovery, and we also get the resistance fertilizer, which requires oxide and basic fertilizer, and it gives you plus 50% crop storm resistance, so it'll be a little bit more resistant when you put that fertilizer on there. In tier 3, we have the platinum shovel here out front, and it requires platinum ingots and iron ingots, and it creates resist tier 3 storm plots and plus 20% planted crop yield. And in tier 4, we have the titanium shovel, which is crafted at the foundry, and it requires 4 titanium ingots and carbon fiber, 6 of those, and it gives plus 20% planted crop yield and negative 20% rate of planted crop spoiling. And it gives tier 4 storm resist on the dirt mound. So we got all the shovels here. We're going to go and kind of check them out, show you those resistances on those, and plant the same kind of seeds on those, and show you what that entails a little bit. So as you can see here, this was the wooden shovel, and it gives you the tier 1 resist storms. This is the tier 2 shovel, or the iron shovel, and it is tier 2 storms. This is the platinum shovel with tier 3 storm resist, and this is the titanium shovel with tier 4 resist. We'll plant a tomato in each one of these and kind of see how they stack up. And of course, as mentioned, they have changed the different crop plots too. So this one right here will be resistant against tier 5 storms, which is what we're about ready to actually have. This one right here, which is the hydroponic, it will give you tier 4 reduction of storms. The iron is going to give you a tier 3 reduction of storms. And of course, whenever these are planted as well, whenever they're planted outside and not in greenhouse, so you pretty much want to, if you get up to a higher tier, you want to go full greenhouse from now on. You don't want to plant outside. If you want your stuff to not have a debuff and be more automated. The forest biome unsuitability, and it basically says that this planted crop will yield 60% less. So you'll get 60% less crops growing outside. We're not going to go to all the different biomes. We already kind of mentioned what they all did, but we're going to show you that this is where you see those modifiers on the crop. You just go up to the crop and hit E, and it'll show you all the modifiers here that the crop has. For example, we have some growing perks that we already have, the sunlight, which is plus 20% crop speed, but we get 60% less. But of course, you won't get that debuff inside of a greenhouse. Inside our greenhouse here, where we grow all of our food and will continue to do so, we're going to see that, well, we have plant fatigue because we grow so many times, but we don't have that forest debuff inside of greenhouse. So you want to make sure you're putting your stuff inside a greenhouse. And of course, this resist crop tier, it doesn't matter because it's inside of a greenhouse. So storms don't matter. And then of course, the area where you build doesn't matter if you build in a greenhouse. So you basically want to make the greenhouse your end game for growing crops, it seems like, if you want them to always be there and not wither. We can also water plants as well, so we're just going to water these plants right here, and you'll see that they do get a debuff with water. It says plant watered, growth speed is increased while being watered, and you get a 50% planted growth speed whenever you water your plants. So if you want your plants to grow faster, water them for sure. But yeah, they still got that debuff, and they can only go up to a certain storm. So we're going to wait till a storm swings by. We're going to kind of show you the different crop plots and how much damage they're taking, and or durability. You can see there's quality at the bottom right of every single one of these crops, and they're all 100% because it hasn't stormed yet. So the storms will affect the quality of your plants. And while we're waiting for those to grow, we're going to show you the new fertilizers here. Let's go ahead and turn that on. I don't know why that's off. But we have the 2 new fertilizers. You can make them in the herbalism bench and up. So we're going to make them here in our most advanced chemistry bench, and we have the resistance fertilizer that is plus 50% crop storm resistance, and we have the 200% crop quality recovery. We're going to just make both of those as well, and we're going to check them out. So we got 4 crop plots here that we are going to plant some tomato seeds into, and they are all out of the tier 1 shovel, the one you can make in your inventory. Tier 1 resistance to storms. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give one side fertilizer, and we're going to go ahead and fertilize this crop here, and then we're going to leave the other side without it. And we're going to see how that works. We're going to go ahead and just water them all, because that is something we'll do. It's going to be hard not just to water too. But we're going to have them all watered. We're going to have the right side with fertilizer and tier 1 store resistance, but it looks like it should be a little bit more. Let's see. We have recovery fertilizer, and it's plus 200% crop quality recovery. So the recovery should go up much higher, and crop growth speed. So it should actually grow faster on the right-hand side. So we're going to leave it for a little while and see what it does. And by the way, those fertilizers look like they only last for about 20 minutes, it looks like. And then, of course, 10 minutes for water. Now, these right here are, I planted these on the update video where they added the crop pot, or where they added the holes, basically. And you can see these has already gone down some. We are on a hard mission, or a hard open world, so these are taking quality damage, and you can see it's 77%. So we've had a storm or two come through, and it's knocked it down a good percentage. So we're going to try to see if there's any way that we can recover that. We're going to try to water it first and see if that increases it, and water these over here as well. They're all the same. And yes, so it looks like it's went from 77 in just a minute or two to 78, or actually about 30 seconds to a minute, maybe something like that. So it looks like watering them will increase the quality back. Here they are at 79. Very nice. We can also use those fertilizers we just put on the other ones. So keeping your crops watered will help you increase the quality of your crops. They're already up to 80. So we finally got a storm here. It is a level 5 storm, and you can see that the crops are starting to take some damage. You'll see like a little animation here and a sound, it seems like, that the crops are taking damage. So all these crop plots are actually supposed to take damage because this is a level 5 storm. None of the crop plots we have here won't take damage, but it looks like we're taking just a minute amount of damage in here. And the one that has the 200% regeneration, which is, I think, this one right here. Oops. Oh well. But yeah, so it didn't seem like it was 97%, it looks like. 98. Sorry. 96 on that one. 96. So it looks like it's going down quite a bit, and this storm just started. So we'll see once the level 5 storm's over with how much the quality is on these plants. And of course, while we're waiting for it to do its thing, you can notice these are all still 100%. So growing in the crop plots and also growing in a greenhouse is going to be quite beneficial. Your crops won't take damage like the ones outside. I can still hear them crunching from here, I think. Yeah, these are already still taking damage, and we're not even to the red part of the storm yet, so... Oh, let's get out of here. And this is the severe winds that we have going on, by the way. And it looks like the storm is coming to an end, and the crops are finally done taking damage. So the storm's over, and it looks like we got about 77%. So exactly what the plants over there were. So, okay, one storm. So those actually only took one storm. So one storm, it looks like it's taking it down about 77% with a class 5. We're going to go ahead and just water these again, let them regenerate just out of curiosity. And they should go all the way back up to 100. These over here is already 100, or they were. Now they're down to 77 again, it looks like. Yay! So it looks like we got to water these again just to keep them alive. So yeah, they added more chores. So basically, if you wanted to plant pretty flowers outside, it used to be real easy to do so. Now you have to sit there and water them constantly. You have to get the best shovels and plant them. So you get a higher tier store. If you're on hard, then you have a possibility that you'll never be able to have these just sitting here as a decoration like we wanted them to be. So it looks like it's a change in the game that I'm not really fond of, really. Just seems like a little bit of busy work. We also got Prometheus world bosses coming soon. They are working on enabling a boss that spawns after the final world boss mission is completed. It will spawn in the volcanic biome, and they're also working on adding a new world boss that will spawn in the swamp areas of Prometheus as well. And next week they're going to be doing the tier 3 farmer satchel and fixes, so they're going to be working on the farmer's satchel, which is a new satchel that you can carry, I guess, and also any fixes from this week's comprehensive list of adjustments. And they say, please give them your feedback about the future upvote linked on the title screen. I am going to skim over this change log this week, and we'll see if there's anything interesting in there. Here's something that is actually interesting. Under the fix section, Kiwi recipes now use mature coconuts instead of ripe coconuts, giving players a bit more time on their decay to use them. That's actually a little bit better. First pass of the icebreaker, which was actually leaked whenever Icarus first came out on their Discord. This is what the icebreaker looks like. Spoilers. And it looks like it's ginormous, by the way, if you look at the scale. Looks like you have some composition and caravan missions, and that really looks like it for the changelog. And thank you so much to the Late Night Crew, KHX, Sergio, Wolfie, Sandy, Silver, John, Rodnob, Aaron, Steadybot, EMC2, Jim K72, Kristen, Jaybird, Fubar, Chris Parsons, Skyreaper1, Gamer Joe, Fabio, Hagar, Alpha Tanker, and Tyler. Thanks so much for supporting the channel. We greatly appreciate it. Just to let everybody know that is a member, this is going to be the last time we're doing a shout out. We're actually taking the shout out portion of the memberships out. We're still keeping everything else though, as far as priority access to comments on the videos and stuff like that, but we are also still keeping the member only videos, so those are available as well. But we greatly thank you so much for being part of Late Night Crew and supporting the channel. And also thank you to our Late Night Crew supporters as well. Speaking of which, so here comes one of the hardest parts of the video for me to do. I am quitting Icarus. I am no longer going to be playing Icarus or doing content for Icarus, and our current Icarus videos will stay up on the channel until they become irrelevant, at which time they will be removed from the channel. We are taking a break from Icarus. Me and D had spoke about this for a while, and we've kind of felt like that we've grown tired of the game, to be honest with you. Especially having about 2,100 hours into the game. To be honest with you, we've done everything we've wanted to do. The game's changed, and it's not the same game that we used to play before, whenever we fell in love with it. So, with that said, thank you guys so much for watching our Icarus update videos. This will be the final update video that we post on our YouTube channel. It may not be the final Icarus video because we may come back and check out the new DLCs when they come out, like Dangerous Horizons or any other large updates that they plan on doing. We may even make a video on it. Who knows? But for now, we're going to step back. We're going to take a break. We're taking a break from our streams as well for now. And we're going to focus on different types of content and other content, more in line with videos on our channel. So if you are leaving us, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate the support over the years. If not, look forward to other videos about other games and new video games when they come out as well. And that's it for this video. Don't forget, if you like what you see, to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And hopefully, we'll see you next time. Peace.